You're okay. Thank you. I'm back. I'm not here about ORVs or anything. Rhonda Jerson out of township. I live on Crook Road. I never thought I'd be back here trying to convince you guys not to hire Terry Troop again. First, I'm going to start off is she has no right to a closed session. You're illegal if you bring her into a closed session. Check with Mr. Bison. I'm sure he'll let you know.
I checked with our legal counsel, Gary Britton, prior to terminating her, and he said she certainly is entitled to a closed session to discuss her termination.
Okay.
So I did check with legal counsel.
All right, well, the law says she has to be an existing employee, quote unquote. I'm just giving you the law.
Okay.
And the second part is she has to be an official interviewee, and I hope that's not the case. So in either case is for closed session. In my interpretation of the law, it is not allowed. Second thing I want to cover is to reiterate how much of a problem she really was out there. I know we brought a lot of this to you as it was happening. We had her pegged from the day one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple excerpts out of a report in which I was a personal eyewitness. I hope that by now, in 6 years of being the Otto Township Supervisor, you know I'm a straight shooter. I don't come here just to make trouble. I come here to fight for what's right. My grandpa said if you stand idle when you see a problem, you're part of it. So I'm here to let you know that this woman is a compulsive liar. On September 3rd, 2009 at 5:47 p.m., the Michigan Department of Agriculture representatives Dr. Susan Bayer, Jeffrey Shaner, and myself went out to Alice Suhai's residence to perform a canal inspection that Ms. Suhai had applied for with the Oceana County Animal Control. I had requested that the MDA go out and do this inspection with me because I was the new animal control officer with this county, and being on the job for a bit over a year, I had questions concerning, one, state kennel regulations, and two, if this kennel would actually be a licensed animal shelter/rescue instead. The reasons I had questions in particular to this kennel was she advertised animals for sale in the local newspaper, and she has a donation canister, Tri-County Feed. So again, that right away, that would tell you she's a kennel. Remuneration is what that's called. The MDA representatives did the shelter inspection of the Otter County Animal Shelter before going out to Suhai. Therefore, we did not get out there until later, which is true. But, you know, it was almost 6 o'clock by the time she showed up. And we expressed that this is out of hours, should not be happening during that time. 9 to 5 all day long, but when you get into people's personal night, you know, it was not a good time to show up. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. When we arrived at Mrs. Suhai's gate to her driveway, it was closed. Sheriff, when you run into a closed gate across the driveway, is that implied consent for you to enter? No. It's a closed gate. The law states you cannot open that gate and walk right in. If there is no gate, the implied consent says you can come in the driveway. If they have a front door, you can even go up to the front door. That is implied consent. If they have a gate across the driveway, they don't even want you to cross there. The law states you cannot unless you have a warrant or you have permission. So she arrived there and she placed a call to Alice because she wasn't out there at the time. She didn't get picked up. She walked back to her vehicle, which was only a couple feet from where the gate was. At this time, a passerby stopped. She goes into something about somebody stopped and talked to her. As I walked back to my vehicle, I saw Miss Suhai come out of her front door, and I asked her if she wanted to keep our vehicles outside the gate or wanted us to pull in when she opened it. She stated it didn't matter. First off, her front door is a good half a football field away from the front gate. You don't have conversations over that much distance. That never happened. Yep. Let's see, I pulled to my... I tried to pull my vehicle up closer to the gate so Dr. Bayer could get out of the road further. As I did this, the car quickly pulled over beside the truck in front of Ms. Suhai's residence. A taller lady came racing over to me and asked me what my name was and why I was there. I told her I was Terry and I am the Oceana County Animal Control, which I was in the county vehicle, and it clearly stated on the door who I am. I'll stop right there. She called me as soon as she saw both trucks out on the street. Rhonda, you gotta get over here. They're here to take my dogs. I jumped in my car, already knew that Miss Terry True was there, already knew that she had a second vehicle there, and I pulled up way in front of her, not beside her. I did not even go running to her. I went to my friend, I took her hand in my chin, and I said, settle down.
Like this.
She was flushed, red, hot, mad. Soon as I settled her down, I said, Alice, what happened? She goes, she's trying to come in and take my dogs. They want me to let her in.
She has to, excuse us, she has to leave for an appointment, so.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
As
fine.
usual.
So I said to Alice, I said, you gotta calm down. What is
Call
she
me
here
even.
for? Well, she wants to come in and do an inspection. So at that time, Terry had just gotten out of her truck and approached me. I was still talking to Alice. Terry comes to approach me. I stuck my hand out. I said, hi, I'm Rhonda Gibson, Otter Township Supervisor. Why are you guys here? She says, we're here to do an inspection. I looked at Alice. I said, Alice, she's just here to do an inspection. Let's do it, get it over with. At that point, we all moved in onto the property. But let me tell you how Miss Troop decided to write this up. And every time I see a falsehood, I'm going to look up and say false. As I walked back to my vehicle, I saw Miss Suhai come out the front door and asked her if we wanted to keep her vehicles outside in the gate. And pull it in when she opened, she stated it didn't matter. False. I tried to pull my vehicle up closer to the gate so Dr. Bayer could get out of the road further. As I did this, the car quickly pulled up beside me, my truck. A taller lady came racing over to me and asked me my name and why I was there. I told her my name was Terry and I'm Oceana County Animal Control, which I was in the county truck, and it is clearly stated on the door. Really? Okay. I already know who she was. I knew exactly what was going on. That's why I went over there. She told me her name was Rhonda and she was the Otter Township Supervisor. True. She asked me why I was there. I asked her if she owned the property. She stated no. I explained to her that I didn't have to tell her why I was there, and she was not the owner of the residence. She then started to explain to me that she filed for none of this happened. None of it happened. Total falsehood. Never once even brought that up. Next she says, I was like, Rhonda again told me that she was the Otter Township Supervisor. She already knew that. Why would I have to explain again? Seriously, this whole report is quite inflammatory. I explained that I understood that, but she was not the owner or the resident of this address, and therefore I need not to explain why I was there. Ms. Suhai made a statement that we were harassing her and that she ran into Ms. Suhai at the Sheriff's Department for the first time. I had heard about the poisoning that that never came up. Never came up. We never even talked about the poisoning of her horses that day. Right then, we looked like we were rescuing some dogs from this county.
Yep.
I explained as I haven't passed, okay. Ms. Suhai, trust me, I'm almost done.
Finish that with Schiller, Rhonda.
Yes, I am. I have this all on my mind. I am absolutely disgusted by this report. I just read this for the first time. This happened 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
09.
Yeah. And I just read this report. I was absolutely shocked at how she portrayed not only me, her, and a few other things she thinks we say about people she put conveniently in here, never brought up. So, there we go. This is the part that is really damaging, and this is her trying to incite issues, which we tried to tell you before. She's really good at. I had learned about the poisoning, okay. Criminal case, Sheriff's Department. Ms. Suhai stated that Officer Schiller was insufficient and did nothing in his report. It stated he transferred the case to the Animal Control Department. I explained that it was transferred over to us. I stopped her at that point and told her we are not here today for that complaint. I was here to perform a kennel inspection. Rhonda then walked over to Dr. Bayer and Mr. Shaner. Now you have to understand this. I know Dr. Bayer. I know exactly who she is. I met her a year earlier. Had some really nice conversations with her. Very nice lady. So when I come up to her second time, it's with warmth and a handshake and how are you doing? And I walked with her most of the time. She was with Terry. Then we ended up in front of her house, standing there, all four of us. And we're going over the law and she's asking specific questions. She was asking about dogs, what had passed, what had left. Alice has all the statistics, paperwork you can ask for. Then we got to the point of whether she was a kennel or not. And of course, we told her that the Department of Ag had claimed that she was a kennel several years prior to that.
Yep.
And when she went against this county on getting her kennel license. And that nothing had changed. So we were trying to tell Terry the law, all right? Remuneration, boarding, training, the law, Michigan dog law. As we were standing there, Terry was checking out this list and doing her thing. And we're trying to recite the law. And Miss Baer, who had been very quiet through most of this, says, do you have a copy of the dog law? And we said, no, we do, but not on us. She reached in her pocket and gave it to us. That's about the only interaction that Miss Baer did at all at this particular meeting. And her other gentleman was in training, okay? Rhonda then walked over to Dr. Bayer and Mr. Shaner. By that time I reached them, Dr. Bayer was explaining that we are all here to verify Ms. Suhai's kennel was actually a shelter rescue or should be qualified for a kennel license. That never happened. I asked her questions off the kennel inspection form, and when I got to remuneration, she said these dogs were all hers. Then she changed and stated occasionally if she finds a good home, she will let it go or might get $35 for a dog. First off, her story never changed. All the dogs are hers, but she also will sell if there is a home. That's what she does. She stated all right, we got to talking about euthanasia just a little tiny bit when Miss Troop said to Alice, well, Alice, you could always give them back to me, to the county. I'll take care of them. In other words, euthanizing, because they're all old. They're all old dogs. They're all over 10.
Most of them.
Yeah. She's been doing this all along. So when she said that, I looked straight at her and I looked at Dr. Bayer and then I said to Alice, you've got to go get a lawyer because this is not working. She was bound and determined to find something wrong with that kennel to take those dogs from Alice. She stated, see, just kill them. See how she is? That never came up. Dr. Bayer immediately stopped her and said that no one likes to euthanize. That never happens. And when it wears on a person and blame a person has to do that and make these decisions so unfair. I also explained that euthanasia is not the part of my job I enjoy. But unfortunately, people do not spay or neuter their animals and leave me with no choice. This is a woman who's taken a euthanasia course 3 times. 3 times. You find any other dog control person here that's taken it more than once, they will tell you they hate that class. It's the worst class ever. But yet she still insists on shooting the drugs into the belly for a longer death rather than into the vein, which is easier, actually, I found out to do, and more immediate. So, in summary, your closed session is illegal. This girl doesn't know how to write a report without telling the truth. She was there to get the animals. She was trying to get through the gate when Alice caught her. Had she gone through the gate, she hopefully would have been arrested.
Right.
But this is the challenge you've got. And I would like to just sign off by saying, if you rehire her for any reason, whether it's a grant, execution, she is your agent, not the person on the grant. She's the agent of the county. Or if there's some other thing that you're trying to get her, she's trying to get back in here. Please understand that not only will you then be culpable for all the past, but everything in the future as well. Because you, please, don't hire her back. Please, don't. I'm glad you got several qualified applicants. I look forward to that. But as I said, your closed session is illegal. You should not have it. If you want me to get the law, I can get the law for you and email it to you. But it is illegal. Please consider that. Just Google it.
Just as a matter of information, Rhonda, there's been a request. There's been nothing granted, and it's on our agenda for this afternoon, but it's not going to happen this afternoon.
Okay.
She's not going to be here this afternoon. If that ever happens, it'll be rescheduled,
Okay.
because we just found out this morning that is not going to happen this afternoon.
Hallelujah.
I was told that to put the closed session on the April 11th meeting.
Okay. But like I said,
Can't do it.
there's only two instances. One, if they're a current employee, and two, if they're an interviewee for a current position. That's the only time you can go into closed session with her.
Rest assured that anything we do, we will do with legal counsel.
Yeah, I just thought I'd better, impart my knowledge.
We're aware of that.
Okay.
Well, it says you can go into closed session to consider the dismissal, suspension, blah, blah, blah.
But she's not an employee.
Right, I understand that. But I did request, just so you know, I did ask that question before I even
Yeah.
went through
Now,
the,
according to what I said, though, you're really on shaky ground.
I'll
And
get a
any result
verification.
out of that meeting may be nullified just by the pure existence of the closed session.
Again, the agenda simply states her request.
Her
she was going to
request.
request it.
Okay.
Right. It doesn't mean we requested it.
Yeah, well, I'm just warning you off it.
Mr. Bob,
Yes, Mr. Walker.
I do not like to spend money for this generally, but the issue was brought up to us. I don't think it's unreasonable that Mrs. Johnson asked our corporate attorney to put that in writing.
I agree.
Very good.
Thank you.
Um,
Yes, Jonathan.
John has a question.
More of a comment. Just because an individual employee or former employee requests a closed session doesn't mean the board has to grant it.
We understand that.
That's
We very
what I was
much.
alluding to.
Yeah, and I just wanted to
Yes.
ward you off of it because it's a shaky ground.
Alice, I assume you want to speak?
Yeah, I always do. Okay, you guys have been coming here for years, and you know that. I've been confronting you, telling you what's going on out there. And you know what, I've been called a liar, I've been called every name in the book, I've been messed with in the paper, I've been messed with here. Every time I turn around, I'm the liar. You know what, the real liar is Terry True. And I hope this hits the paper, that the real liar is Terry True, and I'm saying that because I can prove it. The reason the prosecuting attorney didn't press charges on her is he was probably trying to protect the county from lawsuits, but that's neither here nor there at this point, because the lawsuits will be coming. But here she says she has 15 years experience in the Carla Hendricks case. 15 years experience. And then she took all of her dogs for the reason that apparently she told the dog owner by law she was only allowed 3 dogs. And she now knows it doesn't apply to her. Okay, if she's been a dog catcher for 15 years, which is not really the fact, and we know that for sure. We've done some checking, and every time Terry Troop filled out an affidavit, it was perjury, every time, and we can prove it, and it will come out in the open in the end. I have papers that are sitting over there by Rhonda that absolutely prove forgery from Terry Troop. Absolutely prove forgery from Terry Troop. And I'll take her to court if I have to. If she wants to take me, I can prove forgery and perjury for sure. Okay, but what we're trying to tell you, I'm not here to make you mad. It's just you don't realize what kind of a thing this is out on the street with the people. She's like a domestic terrorist when people don't feel safe in their own home. And you guys, if you guys would hire her, that would be absolutely foolish. But I was wondering, seeing as she asked for a closed session, that means she probably paid the ticket in Sault Ste. Marie. Did she pay the one in Oceana County for driving our county truck? Did she get a ticket in Oceana County for driving our county's vehicle without a license? Did she get a ticket?
This is your time to talk now.
Well, I'm just asking the sheriff. Did she get a ticket? Anybody for driving the Oceana County Sheriff, or Oceana County Animal Control?
No,
Dog?
can I tell you what transpired?
Yes, you can,
Because
yes.
what happened is this, and I thought I had explained it before, but I'd be happy to. On February 7th, I received, I believe it was February 7th, I
Yeah, whatever.
received a notice from the Secretary of State's office that Terry had a suspended license since, as of January 29th. Immediately then, contacted, actually Lindsay opened the mail, read it, I was at a meeting, contacted Tim Priest. We called her and said, do not drive that vehicle. So she did not. We went and picked her up, took her home, and got our vehicle back. We did not know until February 7th. Also, Terry did not know until February 7th because she got a copy of the same notice.
That's not how it works, Sue. That's what Terry True
That's
told
exactly,
you.
well, no,
That's what Terry True
let me-
told you.
I don't want to get back and forth, but I know that was true because Mike got them, he saw the envelope, same thing, same envelope that came from me. Secretary of State's just automatically sends those out.
That's not how people lose their license. They get notified to show up in court when they don't show up in court.
That I don't know.
I've actually spoken to 3 different people, and when she failed to show up in court or pay the fine, she knew she owed that fine. There's no other way. But see, this is what I'm saying. This
I'm
woman,
sure she knew that she owed the ticket, obviously.
right, and she knows that they pull them. Find out how many times that she's actually gotten tickets and not showed up and paid for them. There's a couple other counties out there too, and we've done checks on it. Let's see, and since Terry Tripp has been here, it's taken 2 people to do a kennel inspection, which it never has before in the whole history of Oceana County. Until Terry Tripp got here. Terry Tripp is the one who made her own job dangerous. She's the only one. Everybody liked Mike. You know, Chris, she was different, but everybody liked Mike. You know, everybody got along good with Dave, as far as I know. And Bob Hollister, you know, he was an okay guy. You know, he didn't really bother anybody. But with this thing with Terry True coming in, you have people that are scared to death. Every person that has had a run-in, including a lot of big farmer names, by the way. I just heard a couple more stories. You would not believe how many stories I'm hearing. Even when we're going out to get hay, a guy came up when we were broke down. Rhonda was helping me get hay because my truck's got a bearing going out, and then we blew the front end on her truck, but
700-pound bale in the back. Yeah, it was
But
fun.
Anyway, we had to stop on the side of the road, and, you know, the guy helped us, and we were waiting for her husband to come over and get us straightened out with the truck. A guy came driving off the road, he was one of the neighbor's good friends, and he told us, he will put out an affidavit, as a matter of fact, we're gonna get him to sign a notary public, because this guy's telling me not to be a deal. He had a very expensive dog, and he was out cutting the grass, and the dog took off after a rabbit. He went house to house to house searching for his dog. And this is a typical story of Terry True. This has happened over and over again. The guy went to go get, he went right away, he took pictures, and he went to the dog catcher place, and he said, I want my dog back, he's very expensive, blah, blah, blah. He called or went there every day for 2 months. Then he's up in Gale's IGA or Hanson's over here, and here's his dog picture on the adoptable list. And Terry Troop had a picture of his dog. And you know what? He went to go get his dog back. Terry Troop had sold it already. And this is not the first time. He asked her to get it back and she refused. You know, this is not the first time. It happened over and over again. Let me ask you something. She had 319 dogs in 2012, I believe, right? 66 of them are unaccounted for. Her truck has been seen in the Wago in Multnomah County, our Oceana County animal control truck. Now, 66 dogs are unaccountable. They're not anywhere. They just disappear. Is she selling those dogs to the lab out there? Is she running these dogs around? Or is Lassie taking these dogs and making profits on it? Does Terry get a kickback? You know, what's going on? That 66 dogs are gone. I have every right to know, as a citizen of Oceana County, where are those 66 dogs? That's more than 1/5. 319, 66. That's more than 1/5 of the dogs that she has taken in that have disappeared. And I know she's not a magician. Magicians have class. Thank you.
Thank you,
Alice, the one thing I'd like to just clarify, we've advertised for an animal control, applicants for an animal control officer. Terry's not on that list. She's not gonna be on that list. She's made a request to vent before the board in closed session, as I understand. That has nothing to do with any further employment opportunities by her.
Then the close.
Somebody has overhyped what the
Well, the
situation
closed
is.
session scared us.
Yeah.
And
That's all you had to say, Dan.
there's been a request. There's nothing been honored. There's just been a request.
Okay, but on that request, you actually give her 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, how long was that?
Well,
Look
we
at
put
you, I didn't put you
together,
on it all, look how tall.
put together an agenda based on what might happen. So I think you should rest assured that she's not on any list
Amen, thank
for
you.
reemployment.
That was
Could
scary
we have
for
your
us.
word, could we have the board's word on
I
that?
think you just gave it. I think
All
I
right,
did.
all right, all right, we'll take
You know,
that,
I
yes.
made a statement and.
Yes,
and I
Yes,
don't-
sir, you did.
I don't
Thank you
make
so
false
much. Thank you.
Okay,
That's all we wanted to make sure, because that,
We appreciate your concerns in the operation of our animal control department. And there are times that I'm sure you don't think we listen, but we do.
I'm glad that you had the opportunity to rid yourself of the problem without having to do anything.
could you
That
guys,
works for me.
could you guys answer one question? Did Terry Troop get a ticket for driving the county truck?
She didn't, because they didn't catch her in the truck. She
Nobody
just,
knew about it.
Even her logs show that. She has to go to and from work.
I don't know how that works in.
None of us knew she didn't have a driver's license until February 7th, and then
Yeah,
then we took the truck.
Yeah,
That's all I can tell you.
that's all they could do. And
Thank
now
you,
if
ladies.
you caught her driving around in it,
Yeah.
I'm sure that'd be a problem.
I have pictures, just so you guys know, I have pictures of Terry Troop sitting out in front of my house in the dog truck. True or not?
True.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there. It's a scary thing.
Any other public comment?
Good luck on your search. May the
Thank
best
you.
man or woman win.
Seeing there's no more public comment, we are adjourned until 2 o'clock.
Thank you.